Heading into the season, I fully expected the Nashville Predators to once again be one of the best teams in the NHL and be a legitimate contender in the Western Conference. In my predictions video I made before the season started, I had the Nashville Predators winning the Central Division, but right now, a little over a quarter of a ways into the season, they're sitting 6th overall in the Central. And in my opinion, they've definitely been one of the most disappointing teams in the league so far, so in today's video, I want to talk about what could be wrong with the Nashville Predators. Before jumping into the team and how they're performing this year, I want to take a look at how they played last season. They had a 47, 29, and 6 record, they had 100 points, and were first place in the Central Division before getting upset in the first round of the playoffs by Dallas. In the regular season, Ryan Johansson led the team in scoring with 64 points in 80 games, Roman Josi was second behind him with 56 points in 82 games, and Philip Forsberg was third on the team with 50 points in 64 games. And this is a Nashville team that has been good for a very long time, and you definitely could make the argument that their roster, at least on paper, got a little bit better over the summer, and coming off of a 100-point season, the expectations heading into this year were pretty high for them. Notable moves for the Predators this offseason included losing Wayne Simmons to free agency, but he really wasn't the greatest for them since coming over from Philadelphia at the trade deadline anyways. They traded away PK Subban to get rid of that contract, and they didn't bring back Brian Boyle as a free agent. And then obviously the big splash they made was signing Matt Duchene to that very lucrative deal that is obviously an overpayment, but I still thought he was going to be a really good piece for the team. And it's not like he's been a bad player for them, but he definitely isn't living up to the contract that they gave him, and he really isn't playing as well for them as I thought he would heading into the season, and it would definitely help the team if he stepped up his game a little bit. And now with all that out of the way, let's take a look at how the Nashville Predators have fared so far this season. They have a 16, 12, and 6 record, so technically they are 4 games over 500, but they have lost more games than they've won this year. They've only got 38 points and are 6th place in the Central Division, only 4 points ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks, who currently sit 7th. The leading scorers for the Predators so far are Roman Josi leading the way with 31 points, Ryan Ellis who has 27, and then Calle Jarnkrok who has 25 points. And something that definitely is a little bit concerning is when you look at their top 3 scorers, it doesn't feature Victor Arvidsson, Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg, or Matt Duchene. Now I will give Arvidsson the benefit of the doubt because he has been on the IR for a couple of weeks, but even when he was healthy, he only had 6 goals in 22 games compared to the rapid scoring pace he was on last season. And someone who I'm actually starting to get a little bit concerned about is Philip Forsberg. It's not because of the way he's playing. When he's on the ice and at the top of his game, he, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the NHL. He has the potential to be like a 40-goal, point-per-game player on a consistent basis for this Nashville team. But over the past couple of years, he really just hasn't been able to stay healthy. In the 2017-18 season, he played in 67 games. Last year, he played in 64 games, and he's already missed a good amount of games this year with injury. He's their best forward, and you need him on the ice for them to be at their top level as a team. And Forsberg currently is healthy right now, so fingers crossed it can stay like that for the remainder of the season. And now let's take a look at some of the team stats for the Nashville Predators, and looking at these numbers, you can really start to tell what could be wrong with the team. They have a 16.1 power play percentage, which is just 26th in the league, and with all the talent that they have, especially on the blue line and up front with guys like Forsberg, Arvidsson, Duchene, and Johansson, you would think they'd have a much better power play than they do. And their penalty kill currently sits at 76.8%, which is also 26th, though looking at these numbers, you can tell that their special teams aren't really doing them any favors this year. They shoot the puck a good amount of times per game with 33.7 shot attempts on a nightly basis, which is 4th in the league, and that attributes to them scoring a lot of goals as they score 3.47 goals per game, which is 5th in the league. So they're not really having any trouble putting the puck in the net right now. It's honestly just a matter of keeping the puck out of their own net. They allow 3.21 goals against per game. That's the 9th highest in the NHL. You don't want to be in the top 10 in that category. Now their shots against per game is actually pretty good. They're only giving up 29 against per night, which is 29th in the league, which is 29th lowest, so that's actually a good number. So they're giving up a lot of goals, but they're not giving up too many shots. You gotta kind of look at the goaltending now. Starting off by talking about Pekka Rana, who is their starting goaltender. He's having a decent year. It's definitely not good for his standards because we usually expect him to be one of the best goaltenders in the league. He has an 11-5-3 record, a .894 save percentage, and a 2.99 goals against average. For Pekka Rana, those really aren't the greatest numbers, but he is 37 years old, and he's obviously going to start declining at some point. And then you have 24-year-old goaltender Juuse Saros, who for years has been looked at as the goaltender who's going to take over as the starter when Pekka Rana is no longer able to play at a high level, but he's really had a pretty ugly season. Only a .573 record for Saros, a 3.09 goals against average, and an .894 save percentage. He's not really doing the team any favors when he's in net. So is goaltending the problem for the Predators this season? Maybe, but I don't really think we can put it all on them. Like I mentioned, their special teams have been pretty bad this year for a team with this much much talent. And when special teams aren't very good, usually the coaching staff can catch a lot of heat for that, and maybe something for this Nashville team has to change behind the bench. I'm not saying they need to go ahead and fire head coach Peter Laviolette, but maybe just make a couple of changes to like the special teams coaches or the assistant coaches or something like that to just try and light a spark under them. But if any of you guys watching this are a fan of the Nashville Predators, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think needs to change for this team to turn their season around? Maybe a call up from a young player like Eli Tolvanen, who has really started to play better of late in the American Hockey League. Maybe him coming up to the NHL and maybe producing at that level could really inject some life into this team. I'm just not quite sure, but I definitely think something has to change because they've kind of just been average this year. And honestly, now that I think of it, calling up a guy like Tolvanen probably wouldn't really do anything for the team because, like I mentioned, their problem has kind of been keeping the puck out of their net, and Tolvanen's job coming up would most likely to be put the puck in the other team's net, but it'd be more so just to inject some life into the team, really, honestly. Another thing I want to touch on that I thought was pretty funny the other day when the Predators were blowing out the New York Islanders. I believe they were up a lot late in the game and had a power play, and Laviolette put out the top power play unit again to try to score some more. And after the game, Barry Trotz kind of called him out and really didn't like it, but you gotta remember, Nashville's power play has been abysmal this season. They gotta get any practice they can get, so I kind of thought that was just pretty funny. So that is basically gonna do it for today's video. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are a fan of the Nashville Predators, you most likely watch every game. You're gonna know what the issue is a lot better than I do, so let me know down in the comment section below what you think needs to be done for them to really turn it around and start to become a legitimate threat in the Western Conference. I'm sure Victor Arvidsson coming back in the next couple of games is definitely going to help them. Hopefully he can start playing like he did last year, because obviously that would be a massive help. And with all that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys on tomorrow's video.